Good evening, everyone. This is the August 18th meeting of the Conservation Commission. There being 4 members present, those being Peter Crane, myself, Jared Gentilucci, Skip Clark, and Melissa Danza. I declare we have a quorum and I call this meeting to order. I'm going to waive the reading of the virtual meeting notice. I will remind everyone there's a large crew again this meeting, which is fine. We just ask that everybody be orderly. When you wish to speak, please do use the raise hand feature of Zoom and we will address you in turn. Some of you are used to it, did it very well last time, and I thank you for that. Other than that, I don't know what else there is to say. Oh, I don't see anybody for the applicant of 44 Finn Park again. Isn't that fascinating?
Peter,
all right, well, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Julian emailed me late this afternoon and said that they needed more time to gather additional information and to please continue the hearing. And that was the last communication I received.
And that's fine. We will update everyone who's here on everything we know about this application. And we will let the public speak and ask questions. And then we will just continue the hearing. So let us begin now with our acceptance of the meeting minutes.
Motion to accept the August 4th, 2020 meetings as written.
Second.
Any additions, conversation, changes, deletions, fire sale? All in favor, roll call vote. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Denza.
Aye.
Crane, aye. That's unanimous. All right, so we have an NOI, notice of intent submission for the Camusos on Brittenall Drive. Now this is going to take me a minute to get the right stuff up because I have a single PDF viewing window and I have to find the right tab. No. Maple. Oh. That's it. Okay. I see Stephen Camuso online. Can you hear us and can you speak well to us?
Yes, I can hear you. And I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Thank you very much. If you don't mind just giving us like a 2-minute overview of what this project is, we'll go into more depth when we hold the hearing.
Peter, Mark Elbag is here as well.
Mark is for this.
Yep.
Yeah, I can quickly jump in on that.
Great. Mark, please continue then.
Yes, we have a single house lot on Brittenell Road. The applicant is outside of the wetland buffer with both the septic and the house, but there is some driveway work and site grading within the buffer zone. What we have is a very small bordering vegetated wetland, which is off the lot to the west, and the buffer takes up a portion of the lot that we're in with some of the grading. We couldn't really avoid it with the septic system grading and driveway.
Yep, I can see that.
So we were looking for hopefully a September hearing, and if the commission would like to view it ahead of that, would certainly be open to a site walk beforehand.
Based on this, I have no trouble setting September 1 is the hearing date. We've got all the paperwork, Tamika, we've got all the checks and everything we need.
We do, but I was talking to Steve earlier today. I just need clarification on the fee because Steve had submitted a check for $67.50. And it was my understanding that it's $262.50 regardless of what the NOI filing is for, but I wanted to check with the commission to make sure that I'm not mistaken.
Actually, that's not correct, Tamika. The fees do vary wildly.
Okay.
I'm not going to pretend to know the forms by heart. I don't, and the calculations for it. So Mark, if you could just speak quickly about the justification for that fee, we can just put that to bed.
Yep, I'll speak quickly on that. So category 1 is site work within the buffer zone, and category 2 is for a house lot. In this case, The only work actually in a resource area is the grading within the buffer zone, and the house and septic in this case are outside of any jurisdictional area. So that's why Steve and I made the decision to file as category 1, but we are certainly open to discuss that if the commission feels otherwise.
Anyone on the commission have an opinion they'd like to render?
I know I've had similar cases in the past, and I can't remember what DEP's decision was. I mean, I think usually I get a fee for the whole single family house, so it's the $260, $250 for the town side. But I can, I guess I'm open to persuasion on either side.
By the way, I will notice that joining us right now at 6:07 is Bill Cannon, another member of the commission. So we now have 5. So we have taken $62.50 for projects that are small within the resource area before. So I have no problem leaving the fee as it is. If DEP/DCR objects, I'll let somebody else work that out, but I have no problem with the fee as you described it, Mark. I think it is appropriate for this filing.
Yeah, that sounds good, and we don't want to hold it up. So if there is any issues with DEP, please just let us know, and we're open to discuss it further.
Sure. I'm very sure. Very sure. I would like to think you would hear before I would, but if we hear anything, we'll let you know.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Peter, I have that check as well as the hearing fee check, so I will get that taken care of.
Perfect. So we are set to go for, actually it's 2 weeks from today, isn't it?
Yep, I believe it's September 1st will be our next meeting.
Yep.
Very good.
That is correct. Before Labor Day.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Tamika. You'll just let us know what time, Tamika?
So we've actually stopped assigning a time to it. So I will just put you guys at the top of the hearing list. So
Perfect.
pretty much at the top of the meeting, just like it was tonight.
We appreciate it. Very good.
Okay.
Peter, did you guys want to schedule a site walk for me to post?
Yeah, we ought to do that. I mean, granted, well, this is a short walk, right? How long's the driveway, Mark, roughly?
So this you can see everything from the street. See those wetland flags?
Yep.
That's a very small area, and right near wetland flag number 1, there's a culvert under Britnell Road.
Right.
So, if folks want to drive by and just view the resource area, and then if they feel a site walk is necessary, we can certainly meet them out there. But as you can see from the topo, it's really clear cut because it's such a small area and it's on a hill. So
Right.
there's not a ton to look at, but I'm more than happy to walk the site if the commission.
Trees are already off?
No, we didn't do anything. We wanted to get the filing done first.
Okay, great. Does anyone in the commission desire a communal site walk, or are we satisfied for now with the drive-by and with individuals?
Drive-by is fine with me.
Drive-by is fine with me too.
Same.
Okay,
I'm good.
great. Then that's what we'll do. So before next meeting, we will all have visited to see what it looks like and understand it. Cool.
Yeah, if questions come up while folks are out there, my number is on the NOI form. Feel free to give me a call.
Perfect.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Mark.
What's this address?
So I'm sorry, Steve. What's your parents' address?
My parents' address is 81 Britnell Drive.
So it's between
81 and 89.
81 and 89. It's the Camuso and Solstice property, right in between there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Moving on. Hey, I get to close a window. Let me go back to the agenda. That's it for NOI. So we have this certificate of compliance for ZPT Energy. I am going to suggest that we all, well, because this is ZPT, we probably need to arrange a site walk.
Peter, if I can interrupt you.
Yes, ma'am.
So as it turns out, this never went forward with the solar project. So nothing no work was completed, and it's now going to be sold as a private lot eventually for a house.
I was wondering why we hadn't been called out to look at things on this address. Okay, good. So then I'll take a motion. Actually, is Melissa is signing a COC the right thing to do in this condition?
Yeah, so you issue the invalid, you check off the invalid order of conditions box.
Got it. Perfect. All right, then I will definitely take a motion for this.
Motion to issue? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. Motion to sign
Motion to issue and sign.
certificate of compliance, allowing me to sign on behalf of the entire commission.
Yep, so moved. Yep.
I'll second.
We got seconds coming out. Great. All in favor. Let's go with Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Cannon.
Aye.
Crane, aye. I call that unanimous. Great, we're done with that. So let us reopen the hearing for the notice of intent for the Blairs at Finn Park Road. Or actually, not to reopen, to continue. So we have a little business to do here, and then we have some public who I'm sure wish to speak, and then we will continue this hearing again at the request of the applicant. So let's start with some things. Let's start with something that's not actually under the commission's jurisdiction. And that is the sewer problem / well problem. Just a minute, I need to find, because this is probably just the plan, right? Right. There it is. Okay. So I did send email to the chair of the Board of Health and the health agent in town describing what happened at this meeting, informing them basically that that there was a well that was not accounted for in the septic plan. Even though this is not, and well, I wrote a letter that says, here's something we learned. It's not jurisdictional to the Conservation Commission. Just trying to keep everyone informed of the same information, and the Conservation Commission takes no stand on the appropriateness of the septic system or design. The response from the health agent. Good morning, Peter. Board of Health is aware of the situation. I met Mr. Coppola and Selectman Stillings on site. It appears the old well does exist and will be located too close to the proposed septic system. The board requires engineers to draw and stamp all septic design plans. With this being said, the engineer is required to prepare a plan that meets the Title V State Sanitary Code. Failure to properly locate this well falls on the engineer. Chairman Gilroy, after my site visit, sent a letter immediately rescinding the board's vote of approval back in September 2019 to Mr. Blair. Letter instructs Mr. Blair to have his engineer visit the site, locate the well, and bring a solution back to the board. Thank you for your concern. Scott Gilroy. Richard Stevens, the health agent. So, I repeat, this is not jurisdictional to Concom. This does not impact this hearing one little bit, because Board of Health matters are Board of Health matters. All we are concerned with are our application of the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations. So we are continuing. The applicant paid good money for this review. They're going to get their money's worth, and that's fine. And again, when they produce more information next, I presume at the next meeting, we will hear from the applicant directly. I'm going to close that window. I will bring up the site plan. This is the site plan. Does anyone on the commission have comments or questions?
Yeah, Peter, is this a closed system?
No.
How do you define a closed system? I do not believe it is. I believe it is a traditional septic system. It's not closed or looped or anything. And it certainly is not, well, any of the older systems.
Okay, I was just curious as to whether it was, self-contained, but
I don't believe so. I believe it is designed to release effluent to the ground like virtually every other septic in town. But I haven't read the septic stuff, so I can't swear to that, but it sure looks like it to me.
Peter, is this
Thank
any
you.
different than the plan we looked at 2 weeks ago?
This should be the exact same plan we looked at 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Because there's the high water mark, there's the erosion controls. They only have 2 wells, septic's exactly there. The well radii that they have there impinge upon some portion of the sand. It looks exactly the same.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions from the commission? All right, we will open this up to the public because there are enough people here who wish to, or at least I expect still wish to speak. And if they do, I'd be happy to let them. Please raise your hand so I can recognize you. When I do recognize you, please give your name and your address for the records. Thank you very much. Going once. Going twice. Hearing nothing from the public, I ask for a motion to continue.
Motion to continue to September 1st.
Correct? Good.
I'll second.
Everybody's waiting
We
for
both did the
everybody
same
else.
thing.
And then everybody does it at the same time. This is awesome. Discussion. Move. Oh, wait. We have someone who raised his hand. The chair recognizes Mr. Stillings. Please feel free.
I was just piping in, Mr. Chair, real quick, because I did ask to be heard for this meeting, but if it's going to be continued till September 1st, I'll reserve comment until the full hearing. I just want to thank the chair for his time.
And that is absolutely fine. We will recognize people on the first in the same way that every time we go through hearing, we do recognize the public. We don't like to exclude anyone who from this process. So thank you, Mr. Stillings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'll say again, going once, going twice. So we've had a motion and we've had a second. Any discussion on the continuance? All in, roll call vote. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Cannon.
aye.
Crane, aye. Motion carries. Little by little, we'll get through all these windows. Oh yes. I will now continue the hearing for CB Blair Development for Maple Hill Estates, also known as 0 Maple Ave, lots 3 and 4. Tamika, we have DEP numbers, yes?
Yes, we do. One for each lot, finally.
Was there anything else that was pending for this application?
There is not.
Do we have, now I know it's been a while since we've been out there. Do we have any thoughts for special conditions for either of these lots? And we will vote them independently when the time comes.
I don't have any suggestions, but Tamika, were there any comments? I didn't see it on the lookup.
Give me 1 second. I don't believe so, but let me double check. Hold on 1 sec. You know, Melissa, I'm looking back in my email and I'm not seeing that I received an email on this one. Julian had told me that were issued. And then I got the numbers off of the DEP website.
Are you sure that wasn't for Woodside?
No, it definitely was for this because there was.
Because I don't see them on the lookup, and I went back all the way to February just in case they backdated it.
No, I
because they issued Finn Park Road a number, and then I see the new one.
The numbers that they gave for this one were 0549 and 0548. I'm just trying to look back in my email to see if I'm missing anything here.
I am not seeing those numbers online.
Those would be like super old. Because
do you think it's because he had submitted it so long ago?
Let me check. Hold on.
Because I looked back and it. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say 0547 is from January 31st of this year. And 0551 is from February 10th of this year.
I assume those are not this.
No.
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I know I got them from somewhere. I'm just trying to find in my email.
Yeah, those don't exist at all at the website, so I wouldn't be surprised if those are the numbers.
Because yep, I've got Finn Park Road in my email. And then.
All right, then I am going to suggest that we continue this hearing again. Tamika, I'm going to ask you to email Julian.
Okay.
And to get whatever comments DEP had on these projects so we can get them into our record.
Hold on, I'm just checking one other thing real quick. Because that's going to drive me nuts, because I know I didn't. No, I
For sure you didn't imagine them.
It would make sense that those would be the numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
They would be in the right
They're
order.
the right
It's
timeline.
almost like DEP reserved those numbers for those
Yeah.
two projects, but haven't actually issued them yet because they're not.
Right, I didn't get them from the DP website because they're not even there, which is the
They're
whole
not.
why I thought maybe they hadn't processed them. But I do remember the day I sent the email out, I think because I had sent an email to Julian after our meeting the last time to tell him about everything. And then I think it was that same day that we got an email and we were like, oh my gosh, they actually came. Oh, that's frustrating. I apologize.
Now, do we know somebody to reach out at DEP to find out what they think the status of these projects is?
Oh, okay. So it didn't come to me. It actually went to Joe. I don't know why sometimes they go to Joe and sometimes to me, but Julian sent me a copy of the email. He received it Thursday, August 6th. They issued the numbers and it says, although a file number is being issued, please note the following: resending at the request of the applicant's representative on 8/6/2020. That's what the notes from the DEP say. He said that he sent proof of mailing to them and they processed the number.
Interesting.
So it sounds like there's no comments then.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's weird.
That is strange that they would not have any comments because they always find something to pick on, right?
Well, and especially I think because it's not on the lookup, but like some of the ones that we just got are on the lookup.
That's the weird thing.
So,
I feel a little bit redeemed. I was like, I know I saw it somewhere.
And we're sure that email originated from DEP.
It did. Yep. If you'd like, I can forward it if you guys want to pull it up on the screen real quick.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Sure. Let me send this right now. I'm going to send it to you, Peter.
That's fine.
Okay. I just sent it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure who to contact to get that corrected because like the file number for Finn Park Road came to me, but yet this one was sent to Joe's email address. And
I would talk to Kimberly Roth.
Kimberly, okay.
Yep.
I'll have her straighten that out.
All right. So Yeah, I got an email just like this recently. Not on this.
Probably for Finn Park, because that one.
Oh, okay. So there's, yep. 054. Oh, I assume you got another one for lot 4?
I did, but I can't find it in my email, and I know I had it, and that's how I got the number because I wrote it down for myself.
Right.
So,
So Tamika, I believe you wholeheartedly that you got it, and the numbers are correct have been written into the NOI and are in the orders, right?
correct.
So, given that we actually have confirmation from DEP that they've assigned numbers, and given that the commission has given has given consideration to special orders and decided not to make any, I will.
Actually, before we do
Yes.
that, Peter, can we go back to that? If I remember correctly on this project, one of the things that when we did the site walk, they had put in the erosion control barrier already.
Yes.
I think it already done a lot of tree clearing and things like that.
Yes.
Prior to the filing. And I think they had used hay bales.
They had used hay bales, yes.
So I know our standard conditions mention straw bales or straw wattles, but I'm wondering if we would want to make a special condition for both of these lots.
That would allow hay?
No, I was going to say that if they have to replace any of the perimeter barrier, that they replace it with straw bales or straw wattles and not use hay.
That sounds good.
And I know like Julian verbally said, they'll make sure they'll do that from now on for all projects, which we appreciate. But maybe for that one in particular, because we know hay bales have been installed, if they do have to replace any because they get damaged or are past their useful life.
They certainly will. I mean, they've been around,
right?
And they've been through the weather we've had lately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So any replacement, maybe we should just note in a special condition that they be replaced with straw bales or straw wattles.
Okay. Tamika, you got that?
I got it.
For both 3 and 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Any other orders? Any special orders or unusual orders that we would like to add?
I was just curious, do we have any hesitation about moving forward with this one? Obviously, we have the emails, but the fact that it's not listed on the website, that just seems odd to me. That if they issued file numbers for both, that they're not listed on their lookup. I don't know.
Yeah, well, these are IT systems.
Yeah.
And so I have a certain dislike for hesitance to trust.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And these have certainly been open long enough that if they were going to issue comments, I would have expected them to by now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'll also reiterate, I think we'll know pretty certain if it's a mess up when Tamika goes to submit them on eDEP because it pulls up the information when you put in the numbers.
Right.
So if there's, if everything looks correct there, then yeah, I have no hesitations.
Okay.
Anything else to discuss in this application? Hearing none, I will take a motion to close this hearing.
So move.
The second.
Beat me.
All in favor, forget all in favor. Roll call vote. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Cannon.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Okay. So now I would like a motion to sign the order of conditions for 0 Maple Lav, Lot 3, with the one special condition we added today, with allowing me to sign on behalf of the entire commission.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Cannon.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Awesome. So I'd like a motion to sign the order of conditions for 0 Maple Lav, Lot 4, with the one special condition that we agreed to today, allowing me to sign on behalf of the entire commission.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, roll call, Gentilucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Cannon.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Motion carries for that as well. Discussions, here we go. All right, so let's talk about 3 Simon Davis Drive. Just a minute, let me pull up this and put that down and bring it over here and go to, no, I need to search. Go here and it zooms in and you can see where the wetlands are. And now when I press all the right buttons, you can see where the house is. Ooh, that zoomed in awfully far. And then when we measure, no, yeah, that was right, from here. All right, so this property has a building permit in to replace this deck with an addition with the same footprint. I therefore maintain that they are likely to have earth disturbance and some amount of detritus. And if I measure from, not quite arbitrarily, where the heck did the cursor go this time? There you are. From here to here, it's 87 feet, which is under the 100. And in fact, 100 is right about here, which is pretty close to the center of the deck, which is therefore the center of the addition. So Mr. Cobb and I have been exchanging messages through Viewpoint. What an awesome system. And I said, I asked him to be here at this meeting. He said he couldn't be here because of his work. So that we could have a discussion about the most right filing for this. If this had been over 90 feet, I'm just as a quasi arbitrary, well, not arbitrary, but as a number, if it were closer to the 100, I would have had no problem saying, just fill out an RDA and let's move on. But being at the what do we say? 88 feet-ish. Yeah.
87.
87. It's a little under my comfort zone for that without the rest of the board weighing in. So I basically said he can be here and do whatever filing we suggest, or he can hire a wetland scientist to actually map the wetlands rather than going by my map. And if he can show that it's more than 100 feet away, we'll give him clearance and there's nothing to do. I have heard nothing more than that, so I'm going to suppose that he's going to accept whatever this commission decides to do. So I'd like opinions from the commission, what we think the most right filing is for this application. Oh, let me also state, I have made an assumption at the beginning, and that he's doing a full foundation for this and not using whatever posts were for the deck, because that doesn't feel, posts and
like sonotubes.
Sonotubes that are on the deck.
Yep.
That doesn't feel like the right way to go, but I haven't talked to the building inspector. I haven't seen what plans I have got, just talk about some of the materials they're using, for the roof and the sheathing and all of that.
That would be good to know, because if it's reusing the existing foundation versus putting in a new foundation, there's a big difference between the two.
I agree there is. Which is one reason I'm very glad that I remembered to say out loud what my assumption was.
Yeah,
so,
and Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
would agree with that as well, because if they're using existing footings, or sometimes if they're just adding, one or two more footings, that can fall under the accessory use with the 50-foot exemption.
Right.
So it's up until, one footing at 85 feet, I'm not necessarily concerned about, even if it's two. I think it's more, right, if they're putting in a kind of more stable foundation, or if they're grading anything out.
Melissa, with that, I was just looking that up too, because I was trying to figure out if that would be exempt if it's over the 50 feet.
Yeah.
It doesn't mention structure additions. It mentions decks and pools and shed and patios.
Right.
things like
Accessory
that.
things.
Right. Would a addition to a single family house be considered an accessory use, or?
I would call that latitude of the board.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's where it comes in, the difference of the structural aspect of it. So when it's just putting in like one hand dug sonotube or two hand dug sonotubes versus putting in a concrete foundation for it, there's the kind of a difference, because we would do just the sonotubes and the footings for a deck. So that's the same. I equate kind of the work.
I'd agree with you. What's happening above the foundation is what it is, whether it's a deck or a house. It's, they're framing, they're doing whatever. That
and we can just tell them, hey, put an erosion. I mean, I don't have the slope of the land up here. Let me add that. Although it's going to go towards the wetland, right? I mean, what else is it going to do?
Would think so. Yeah.
I don't know. There could be a berm. You never know.
Yeah, I would agree. If it's a simple foundation, reusing what's out there, or a few extra sonotubes, I would lean towards.
I don't see a single. I mean, granted, they're 10 foot.
Yeah, they may be really flat. Let me see what I can.
It looks pretty flat. Oh, I see. There's one here, and the next one's really the road.
No, it goes through the house a little bit, right on the top.
Going through the house?
It's red. It goes through the D and then.
Oh, this guy right here.
Yeah. So it is pretty flat. Yeah.
All right. So if he's sticking with a few more sonotubes, then we can, then the commission can consider this an accessory structure and say the 50-foot limit applies, and we'll get out of his way. If he's doing a full foundation, what's his right filing? Because I just want to I'll go and find the answer to the questions, then I want to send him a message saying, this is what you need to do.
I'm okay with an RDA if it's just in that limited scope. If they're putting a more kind of permanent foundation, and if they are exempt, I would still condition it that any stockpiling is outside the buffer,
right,
or on the driveway ringed with erosion controls.
Okay.
And a line of erosion controls on that.
Like somewhere around the limit of work, or even at the edge of the lawn.
Yep.
Either of those I think would be fine. Okay. I think we have our answer. Any other questions or comments about this property? Then let's move on. 40 Prescott Street. Okay, now I have to find all this. Okay. That's not the full mitigation plan, that's just the map. Oh wait, this has all kinds of words. So no one is here. Neither Mrs. Moody nor Mr. What was his name? I've already forgotten.
Mr. Spalding, Chris
Mr.
Spalding.
Spalding, thank you. Oh, and in fact, it's probably right there. I see this now.
Document that he provided. There was nothing else. This is all that everything's there.
Right. So there's this, and then there were some emails with DCR and DEP also, or just DCR?
This one was just with Alan at DCR. I had
DCR,
included,
right.
yeah, his response to them, and then Chris's response back as to the changes that they made.
Right. So in fact, this, I can tell right away that this has the DCR changes already in place. So let me see if I can find. Wait, what's this one? Nope. 40 Prescott. There we go. All right. So the magic words delineated versus regulated and a larger buffer. Why don't I see? I see Chris's response to the DCR.
If you scroll further down, it should have Alan's original comments in that email chain.
Oh, it wasn't. I was staring at it. I just couldn't see it. So basically, there's a word choice issue, regulated versus delineated. They wanted a larger vegetated buffer. I'd like to see a vegetated buffer along the whole stream and not just the impact area, 2 and 3. And that's pretty much all he said, which not huge comments. And the response was replacing regulated with delineated. And so we have the wording. Did we ever get confirmation from Alan that he was okay with the changes?
Nope, I have not heard from Alan.
Okay, so I don't know what the DCR review process is. I do remember seeing in Alan's email that he specifically called out that it has to be reviewed and approved by the DCR, which is fine. I just don't know what that is and how long that's going to take. And really, so a change in wording, a larger buffer, and more space for buffer, which led to this. 10-foot wide vegetative buffer zone shall be established along the 155-foot. Can everybody read this? The delineated resource area, in addition to 5-foot wide by 100-foot long buffer zone, shall be established along the delineated wetland resource and impact area 1. These buffer zones shall be allowed to naturally regenerate along with the addition of native plantings. Within the buffer zone, native shrubs shall be planted no more than 10 feet apart, consisting of a variety of species, including but not limited to high bush blueberry, red osier dogwood, silky dogwood, maleberry, sheep laurel, and wax myrtle. Native scrub/shrub vegetation shall be planted in the fall, nice, to improve the survivability rate. And the fall, boy, it's a whole lot better to plant in the fall than right now, unless we get more days like this past weekend, eh? Planting shall be completed by October 31 this year. Vegetation around the plantings shall be allowed to regenerate and shall not be mowed, cut, or maintained, except to remove target tree species that pose a threat to the dwelling. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Area located west of the stream shall be allowed to naturally regenerate. All of the areas disturbed which surround the residence shall be loomed to cover the ground stumps and seeded with lawn mix and mulched as soon as the plan is agreed upon by the Conservation Commission. Erosion control measures such as silt fencing, hay bales shall remain in place until the plant of shrubs is conducted. One would hope they would stay in place until all the plants take, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, you would think so.
Conservation Commission shall be notified upon the completion of the shrub plantings with supporting documentation. So I actually have a question. Has anybody gone out to look at the wetland flags? Boy, did I intend to, and boy, did I not get to it.
I stopped by earlier today, late in the day today. Nobody was home. I knocked on the door a few times. Nobody answered. So I did take a look from the street. I did not go onto the property, but just took a look from the street, took some pictures. A lot has changed since the last time I was out there. There's grass, mulch. I did notice, I think it might have been the tree that was mentioned last time that had come down. It's still leaning against another tree.
Ooh.
It's not near the house. It's to the left of the house, but
Okay.
you can see it. It's a pretty.
It's
big
still
tree.
clearly a danger.
Yes.
I'm surprised. Well, although I'm surprised it wasn't done because we clearly gave permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's out of state.
Right. I remember her saying she wouldn't be here right now. I'm just surprised that Mr. Spalding hasn't made it. But, oh, what did I do? I guess I can edit this. Ooh. Alrighty, so let me zoom in even a little more. As we can see, here's the house. Here's the stream. Yes, I agree. There's a 3-foot culvert right here that runs, unless I'm mistaken, to right here. They don't talk about the other culvert, which I find interesting. It's okay with me that they don't. Well, it's not a culvert. It's actually a pipe.
Right. There was a catch basin further up the street.
Right. So their delineation is, so wait a second. Okay, so he delineated the stream, and that green must be the 10-foot buffer, right? 10 foot wide by 155 long, vegetative stream buffer to be established. And then there's another one here. A1 through A10, and then B1 through B16, fine. Let's just make sure there's nothing else hiding in this text after these arrows. Right, so DCR didn't mind that this is only 5 feet. Is that what I remember correctly?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because when I read Alan's comments in his email, he said after review of the plan you submitted, DCR would like to see a restoration buffer strip wider than 5 feet. But it was unclear to me if he was talking specifically about the buffer adjacent to the stream or if he was meaning all areas. My guess is maybe if it's, well, I don't know, maybe I should assume. But I was a little confused about that because it sounded like he wanted more than 5 feet, but then this revised plan against the wetland on the south side of the property is still showing a 5-foot buffer.
Oh, so here's the DEP email. Oh, that's the wrong email, isn't it?
I think it's the one just to the right of that one, maybe?
Yes, you're right. Thank you.
Yeah,
so let's go back to the DCR comments and decode them.
Yeah, right here. That second paragraph. Second sentence.
And he also, well, okay. Oh, I see. I agree. Well, it certainly sounds like he always wants more than 5 feet.
Mm.
And he specifically wants along the entire stream and not just those areas. So if I go back here, it looks like because the dashed line, I'm going to assume that he goes all the way down because he didn't break it apart this time. So it looks like he has met, like this condition, this request was met along this entire side of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing absolutely nothing on this side of the stream. is what I understand. Right? Because that's what it says down.
That's my understanding too. West side to be allowed to regenerate naturally.
Right. So, so I want to pick topics one at a time and give anybody who wishes to have to speak to speak on it. So the first thing I want to talk about is this buffer zone that's now 10 feet. Is 10 feet a good buffer for this instance? You know what I'm going to do? I am going to I'm going to pull up so we can actually see. Topo's on, right? Topo's on. Oh, I see. Here's one line. Looks like other, oh, there's, with all these darn colors, it's hard to see. So if I click on this one instead, maybe I'll see it more easily. And maybe I won't. All right, well, I think the point that I'm trying to make is I don't see a lot. This doesn't look to be a severe contour change, which is kind of how I remember it. There's a slope towards the new pond. I find it very interesting they don't count the rest of the stream as wetlands, but then again, they probably just couldn't see it when the pictures were taken.
It does come up as a hydraulic connection on MassGIS.
Ah,
The stream
okay.
does.
Good to know. So there's not a lot of there's not a lot of topology change here. We know that the stream is inside its bed. So is 10 feet enough for that side? What do we think?
I think it'd be fine.
There's one fine.
I think given some of the constraints, it might be okay. I think we just want to then be kind of specific on the density of plantings and survival rates as well. You know, if we're going to allow that 10 feet, then maybe, or only 10 feet, then maybe we want a little bit more diversity in the plants that they chose, whether it's just some additional ones. I think that's really my only thought. I think it needs to be kind of a give and take. If we're going to let them only do 10 feet, then.
So how deep would you like to see it, Melissa? If you were given unlimited resources, let's pretend you're in charge. What would you like to see for their buffer at this stream?
Well, I think, you know, we kind of adhere to our 20-foot policy, and, you know, in terms of the impacts in areas that they've disturbed, you know, kind of doing that in an in-kind. So does that, the square footage of disturbance that they created, are they replacing that? You know, because a lot of this is not just buffer zone, you know, but is other regulated resources as well.
Right. Very true. So should we then ask for a 20-foot buffer? I have no problem asking for it.
20,
and I'm with you. What's that?
20 or 25?
25. 25, which is our normal no touch.
Okay.
Thank you, Jared. You're right.
Won't hurt to ask.
Won't hurt to ask. Let's see what they come back with.
That's true. Okay.
And then also, as Melissa suggested, a little more insight on the planting density so that we can do our due diligence on this buffer.
Yeah, I guess I'm used to when I see a restoration plan, seeing physically where these plants are going, you know, because you want to make sure that one, you have the correct number, the correct spacing, and that they're kind of like interdispersed and they're not just kind of like bubble plantings of these things every, 5-10 feet, because that really doesn't provide the full coverage buffer that you want.
Okay, so we also want to see an actual plan,
I think the other
a
thing
plantings plan.
to add to what Melissa said, she mentioned spacing. I think the other thing,
Caliper,
yeah,
size.
species.
Species, yeah.
Basically, essentially a planting plan.
Yeah, a real
Yeah,
plan.
and I think that is at the bottom, but there's only like 5, and I'm pretty sure that he listed wax myrtle, but I don't think that's what he meant, because that's not the correct species that he lists for the Latin name. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just looking on the native plant, to make sure that they were all natives, because they're some are common, but others are maybe not so much. And it says including but not limited to, so I think we really want to hash in what we want.
Yeah, okay, so we actually want to know get a real planting plan to understand how many of each and where they're all going. And in between, I assume, will be this interstitial stuff he was talking about. Right? Because there was
And it might be something else to consider that I just thought about, for some sort of this final restoration plan that includes like survival rate and inspection reports, or whatever we want to include, whether it's something that we want to have recorded as well at the deeds, so that in a couple years we can look back to say this is what it was supposed to be. If we just want to keep it local, which is more than fine, it's just something we have to keep on our radar.
Okay. You got all that, Tamika?
Sorry, yes, I've got that. So you guys would like me to email Chris Spalding back with this information, correct?
Yes, when we get everything, when we're done with this, we'll have the whole list of things we want him to take note of.
Okay, Melissa, if you have a moment and it's not too much trouble, do you mind just recapping in a quick email so I can make sure that I truly captured everything that you guys want specifically?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Okay, anything else on that buffer?
Peter, just one other thing.
Yes.
I don't know, and this is just as an additional comment. I don't know if this has come up before. I don't think it has, but I think it's just worth mentioning that stream, if I remember correctly when I looked this up before, that is a perennial stream. So like Melissa mentioned, we're dealing with wetlands, buffer zone to wetlands. Technically, we'd be dealing with riverfront area here too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make mention of that for the record, that riverfront would extend 200 feet off the edge of that stream.
Right.
And I think that plays into why it would be great to see a slightly wider restoration area against that stream, because typically if you are doing work in a riverfront area, the requirements are more stringent than just doing work in a buffer zone.
Okay.
So just wanted to
Nope, you're right, they are.
Right, because it itself is a resource area. So
correct. Yes.
Thank you, Jared, for clarifying.
A riverfront is not a buffer zone. It is a resource area in and of itself. Yes.
Right. All right, so I want to move to the other side of the stream. Is it okay to just let that go to nature as he proposes?
I would say yes.
Because that side wasn't, or it was touched, but not necessarily to the extent that the side closest to the house was, right?
Oh, absolutely, you're right. They didn't do any tree cutting, I don't think. They probably did a little bit of brush clearing to clean up the visibility of the stream.
Right, because that's where some trees were that they cleared that were in the stream.
Right.
Okay.
I'm looking
Yeah, I
at-
mean, I think that will grow back pretty well. I
Okay.
think, if we can get that. I think the access on that side, while most things will be hand dug, it just might create more of a mess than we necessarily want, schlepping stuff over.
Yep.
I'm looking at the pictures I took late this afternoon,
Mhm.
and yeah, same. I have the same recollection. Pictures show it. It is fairly dense on that side of the stream still. It doesn't look like much was removed over there. And I agree with Melissa. I think probably doing any work over there might do more harm than
Would be,
good.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. I just wanted to get.
Yep. No, I think that's a good suggestion from Mr. Spalding on the mitigation plan. I think you let nature do its thing over there. It'll take over.
I don't want to ask this question, but I really have to, because we're not on site to look at it. But at first glance, does the placement of the wetland flags A1 through 10 look okay? I will grant the delineation of the stream is straightforward. Without even having gone out there and looked at it, the stream is the stream. It's very obvious, it's very clear. This is a little less obvious, and I know we're not on site to look at it. But does any of this look unreasonable to anyone?
I'm assuming that this kind of isn't extremely exact, but from what I've seen from the street, it looked fairly obvious. I mean, you could pretty much tell the cutoff
Right.
of where the BVW started. I think it's just kind of that dip where they're going to do the 5-foot buffer that just on this map, it looks a little too inward, but I think on the actual site, it's more upland.
Right, okay. So now let's turn our attention to this other replication zone. So let's talk about comments for this. Shall I assume that we'd like to get that out to 25 feet as well?
I would. Doesn't hurt to ask. I
Yep,
agree.
and the same planting, the same plan I request. I mean, it's going to be a different plantings, I assume, on this site, because this is, in fact, are there plantings on this one?
I don't think so.
I think if you zoom out a little bit, it might. I thought they were proposing the same type thing for both. Yeah, they were on the little comment on the actual map. It says that a vegetative buffer will be restored. So I think planting's there as well.
Right, okay. So then I would think we would want the same planting plan. I don't think it's as strict on this one as it would be on the other, but you know what, I can be wrong, because I don't know what the heck those beavers are doing and how much the water line is changing. Okay. Well, there is allowed to regenerate naturally, just like we thought.
The way it is over there, Peter, is if we get another, large rain storm, it's going to come up again.
Yep. So let me ask this question based upon the plan to loom and seed. Well, the loom's been done. There's some seed there, but the remainder of the seeding, other than actually, here's a question. Why wouldn't there be a buffer down here?
That's a great question.
Unless they're going to say this wasn't disturbed.
I think that's what he was getting at.
See, the problem is he talks about disturbance area 1, 2, and 3, and he doesn't delineate them here.
Right.
Did we
I think
We
need some
didn't define them in our orders, right?
No.
I believe so. So I think we'd want to get some clarification on that.
So
Yeah.
let's add that to me, because I want to get that, because I'd like to get justification for why. Because we know the water goes fairly well along this line.
Yep.
So why wouldn't we want to put in the 25 over the rest of this?
Unless it wasn't disturbed to begin with.
Right,
And if
right.
that's the case, then that makes
Then
sense.
that's fine.
Yeah. But
And in fact, this area wasn't disturbed either, as I recall. Oh,
Peter,
this is over.
can you reiterate one more time specifically what you would like clarified?
In his,
I can put it
Plan.
in my email if you want, Peter, just to Tamika. I got what you're saying.
Okay.
They listed
Yeah.
impact
Yeah.
areas 1, 2, and 3.
right, exactly. He has 3 different impact areas listed here, and we don't know what he means by those on this plan.
Right. They're not, the impact areas 1, 2, and 3 aren't specifically
Aren't delineated.
Yes. Yep.
And actually, this area may have been impacted also. It's probably over here that was never touched, but this, nah. I don't know. I'd actually have to go out to the property and look. Because there was stuff done in this area, I remember. But I'm not sure there's anything done this far. Whatever. Oh, somebody's calling in. Hold on. So we just had a phone number join us, 774-267-1329. I can't unmute you, so you have to unmute yourself. However, you do that on the phone, and I'm sorry to say I don't know how to do that to help you along. So delineation of those areas, which will tell us if we should expect anything else, but we definitely want to get some of this. We definitely want to get the 25 footers notified straight away and the request for plans so we can prep those. And then we can discuss the need of this other area once we see the delineations. I'm going to go back and ask the question that I meant to ask before. I'm not sure I ever completed it. Other than the buffer zone, do we have a problem with with looming and seeding so that, I mean, assuming the erosion controls are in place as they're supposed to be, then do we have a problem with looming and seeding so that we can prevent any more runoff?
As long as no, I don't have a problem.
I don't either. No.
And it was just a grass mix. It wasn't clear, but I don't think it needs to be, because we're going to be far enough away from the areas, right?
Yeah, I think at this point, right, she just needs to get it stabilized.
Yeah, I agree. So I think stabilization is more important than knowledge of exactly what the grass mix is, but there are so many standard grass mixes.
I would say as long as they're using a typical Northeast mix, something that's typical for this area, that should be fine. And that's probably what they used. I did notice when I was out there earlier today that a lot of the front yard that I could see was fairly well established at this point.
Good.
It was, kind of a mix of grass and crabgrass that time of year, but it looked pretty well stabilized, which was good, because I would agree. I think getting more of the areas that were disturbed stabilized is a good thing at this point to prevent erosion and migration of sediment into the wetlands in the stream.
Okay.
It was hard to see the back of the lot.
Right.
I did see the erosion control barrier at the back though.
Good.
So that was good. And there was a sprinkler going near the kind of southwest of the house, kind of west, southwest of the house. Yeah, not quite that far south, maybe more like west of the house. There was a sprinkler going over there.
Okay.
That was, but it looked, most of the lawn I could see did look pretty well stabilized, which was good.
Good. Are there other elements of concern that we wish to have about this mitigation plan? Going once? Going twice? Okay, so Tamika, if we could get, I know we're waiting for email from Melissa, but if we could get that as soon as we can so that Mr. Spalding Chris Spalding, I think, can get back to us and we can finish this up, hopefully at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All righty, so let's clear away some of this. No, I don't want you to save the changes because I didn't write the right way anyway. Well, that's coming up. That's coming up. That one's done. I'm just trying to clean up my, oh, let me guess, that was not the one I should have closed. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what's next on our agenda?
Next up is 136 Maple Ave. I did reach out to Ryan Silkey, the logger, via email. I had CC'd Peter, and I have not heard any response back.
Hey, okay.
I also followed up with Denise at the DEP to explain the situation, and I did not hear any particular response back from her, so I think we're kind of in limbo on this one.
Sounds familiar. Well, we won't be the first group sort of put on hold while waiting to hear from someone. So all we can do is try, and then we have to make a decision at some point about what we're going to do. Okay. So, I mean, does anyone else have any thoughts or concerns or comments about 136 Maple? Hearing none. Correspondence from DEP. The email should not have closed, so I'll open it up again. Okay, so this is about the amended orders of condition for Wachusett Street, which was the crossing that Julian turned into a full-blown bridge, so there were no wetland impacts. So this is okay. This is really a paperwork question, as near as from my reading of this, because the postmark date versus the date of issuance of the orders are different, and apparently the date that we do the signing and the voting doesn't matter. It's the date that it gets put in the mail, date of the postmark. That's interesting. So
to clarify, the date of issuance should be the date that either you hand deliver it to the applicant or it gets certified mailed. So that issuance date isn't necessarily the day we vote. So sometimes, but that date of issuance, if you submit it electronically, that's good for DEP. That requires the signature. Tamika can submit it on our behalf. It's just the registry that requires the original signatures. So, I usually put the day after the meeting, because that's usually when I submit it to DEP, because I also give the option to my applicants to send it to the registry of deeds for them. So most of the time I just say, okay, you're coming to pick it up. So I do the hand delivery on the next day. And then all those dates then match, because you also electronically submit it on that day as well. If that made sense.
I apologize. That is my error. I have always put the date of issuance as the day that the commission approved it. And this is the first time that something has ever come back. So I apologize. That was my mistake that I didn't know I was making.
That is like the most common issue, misconception in this whole world. So I feel like most of the towns do that. I think it's just lately they've been kind of cracking down and trying to get the information out there of what the issuance date really is, especially during COVID when they're all working from home.
Right.
Melissa, can I ask you for another question? So when we're putting in there, the slot where you put the date that the order will expire 3 years from this date, is that date still the date that the commission approves it?
Nope. So that'll be 3 years from the date of issuance.
Okay, so it's that same date. Okay, so
Mhm.
that I have to get used to that then, because I usually have everything pre-filled, but then I didn't know when I was mailing it out because I would be waiting for Peter's signature, you know, and then I send it out. So we'll have to better coordinate how that's going to work.
So what you can also do, which may work, is when you get that electronic confirmation from EDP, when you submit it day of, because you don't need our physical signatures to submit it to them. And so you can send it to them and send that electronic copy to, you know, whoever the applicant is, you know, via email, and just say once, you know, hard signatures have been acquired, you know, the 10-day appeal period has gone over, you know, then you can pick up your original for recording.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. So the copy that I send through EDEP does not need to have signatures.
Correct. And I think that's where they're talking about that the electronic ones are fine. So that's where you check off, like, you know, certification for signature on that very last page before you type in our names. So, you know, if you can log in, it's because you've already been an authorized user to sign off on our behalf. So, you know, and I think you also have the option just to put in, you know, someone's email for confirmation as well. So, you know, you can kind of do that, and then you can download that electronic copy. You might have to like put it all together with the conditions because it doesn't download all at once, and then just kind of forward it off, be like, it's been submitted. Your original can be picked up once, you know, the original signatures have been acquired.
Okay.
I think that would probably be the easiest to get around things when we're not all in the same room right now.
Yes. I completely understand what you're saying. And
it's okay if you don't. I just blurted out what I could think.
Yeah, so Melissa, actually, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because I know we're doing things differently because of COVID. I know I'm signing on behalf of the commission.
Yep.
Something I'm wondering about, should we put in the name, type in the name of the members who voted just to have a record of something with the registry? Or is that more trouble than it's worth?
So when I sign on behalf of my commissioners just for the registry, I like write their names, and then I kind of write as a footnote, as approved. I just write the names of those who physically vote, or, you know, whatever voted.
Who actually voted, yes.
Yeah, and then just kind of write as approved at blank blank meeting. So that way that gets recorded to say, or, you know, on the 8/18/20 virtual meeting, you know, as approved, and then write everyone's names or sign them.
Okay, because I can start doing that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of anything we can do to make it less questionable to either the registry or the DEP is better.
Yeah, because.
But I also don't want to just leave papers around for everybody to sign. Planning board has to go through the registry of deeds actually needs physical signatures on plans and things. Right. So they have to wait a few days for everybody to make it in to sign things. Yeah, no, I mean, I've sent like COCs and orders have been recorded with that just little footnote that has, you know, signed on behalf of, you know, these people, and they've been fine. You know, as long as the certification on EDEP is made electronically, they're accepting that. So it's just the registry that really needs the physical signatures right now. Okay, so about this third paragraph, specifically in regards to the amended orders for Wachusett Street, I have a question about page 3 where resource area impacts are marked. BVW is still marked. The amended would have made this a buffer zone only project, correct? I believe that's correct.
I believe that is correct, yes. Because they replaced the culvert. I forget what they had before, but they ended up making it larger.
Yes.
To span the.
To completely eliminate.
BVW. Yes, yeah. I think that's right.
Then that was my error. I apologize. I didn't have any numbers filled in on there, but I must have obviously forgot to uncheck that box on the amended copy because I used the original one I had issued and then went back and made changes. So that was my error, and I will fix that and get a new copy sent over to them.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that we're all aligned on what should happen.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that it really was my mistake and that there wasn't something different.
No,
Yeah, okay.
in defense of Tamika, I told her to ask Julian for the updated sheets that had those impact numbers, and I don't think he ever gave them to her. So she was we were trying to figure out what it was going off of.
Right. Okay. Well,
Thanks.
Tamika, we're all learning how to do this.
It's my mistake.
No, this one was a cluster.
Yeah, this one was definitely a bit of a challenge, and it is sometimes hard when you're relying on somebody else to get you the information and they're not always responsive in a timely manner. And so, but I definitely accept responsibility, and I will get that corrected copy taken care of.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else in this email to.
Peter, I've seen one thing.
Yes.
This last sentence of the second paragraph. For the purposes of the Wetlands Protection Act, a sole signature does not suffice. What is that referring to? Because when I read that whole paragraph, it almost sounds like it's saying you can't sign for all.
It sounds like the opposite of what we thought it was.
Right.
Yes, except that it says above that, and those signatures can be electronic.
Yeah, so for the appeal part and regulatory aspect, they need more than one signature. And that's where they're saying the Registry of Deeds has different requirements. But on their end, they need more, but those can be electronic.
Oh. So do we need to start having everyone come in and sign?
No, so that's where, Tamika just submitting those signatures electronically is getting those quorum of signatures. And it's just the registry copy that I would, Peter, just start, like I said, just like sign our names on your behalf with the note as approved on, yada, yada.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. Because that way there's the forms filled out, which is different. Again, this is what we just agreed to a little bit ago. Okay.
Yep. And so I usually, because on the EDP printout, it prints out the names of who signed electronically or who Tamika signed on behalf of. So I usually just put that signature page right behind that electronic page, and then it all gets recorded together.
I may need to call the Registry of Deeds because I ran across this for something else. And somewhere I saw that the Registry of Deeds requires ink signatures.
So I thought that was the case too.
Yeah.
And on
but COVID, I think, changed everything.
So I believe it did, because on one of my own projects in Worcester, I was told that the order that we need to get recorded, it doesn't have ink signatures, but I was told that's okay. You can print this out and record it, because there were no ink signatures produced. So I believe you can, like in the case of mine, I can just print it out. It would be no different than the hard copy they would give me, because that wouldn't have hard copy ink signatures either.
Right.
And I believe I can go to the registry to record that. And I think that's okay. That's my understanding, but I haven't actually recorded it yet. When I do in the near future, I can let everybody know what happened.
Well, let's start with the registry hasn't turned on anything that I've heard of.
Oh no, I've had like 3 things sent back.
Okay.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. So it depends who is doing the mail and the recording that day, I feel like.
Okay.
Interesting. Because you figure we've been doing this since March, and with everything that we've issued, I've not had one thing come back from, an applicant saying, hey, they said this didn't work.
Yeah, so that's why I've just been printing the electronic form. Any signatures that I do happen to get or that I'm signing on behalf of, I just slip that into it as well. So it's like a backup. If they're fine with just the electronic signatures, then we're good. But if they want the physical ones, then they have that as well.
This is exhausting. I miss the old way. I just want paper and ink, and that's all. It's too much.
I know, you think we'd be able to more easily submit things to the registry electronically too as a municipality, but.
Absolutely, especially given the current circumstances.
All righty, I might reach out to the registry anyway, just to, if nothing else, make myself feel better about what we're doing. But Tamika, I think we have a new plan for the signature page, and that's fine. We'll start doing this from here on out, and everything will.
Yes.
Things will fall, chips will fall where they may.
I'll let you know if I find out anything too, because I
Great.
actually need to make a trip to the registry in Worcester, probably in the next couple of weeks. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Get
try,
that.
and if you get away with it, I will.
Yeah.
do it.
I'll let you know.
Yeah,
Guinea
we'll be
pig.
the guinea
Awesome.
pig.
Or if I get rejected, I'll let you know.
Yeah, like the little
I
fury
can see the
inside
email
me.
starting off with, "Brrr."
I feel like every week I at least get one return thing from the registry just for something that they just didn't like about it, even though I send it back the same thing because it's completely right, but that's fine.
Right. Okay. So we're done with Wachusett. And next is joint meeting of the Select Board, Conservation Commission, Planning Board, and AgCom to discuss the 621A that we said we have no interest in on Prescott Street. So,
if I may, Peter,
Yep.
essentially, the chairman, Rich Raschuti, was just trying to keep an open dialogue with the various boards and commissions on this topic, just in particular because the planning board had raised interest in this property and it kind of snowballed a little bit. And
Right.
so I explained to him it was unlikely that you guys would feel the need to participate given that you don't have an interest in the property, but we at least wanted to present it to the boards and then let them decide if they were comfortable leaving it as it is.
right. So I will be at that meeting because I have questions to ask of the Select Board and the other boards. Not about Prescott Street specifically, but about other, how this relates to other 61A potential acquisitions, properties coming up, and who's responsible for certain activities in the town. So I will be there. Would anyone else like to be there? You have to be there, but you're going to be there not as a conservation commissioner.
That's right. I'll be there, but
What, this is August 24th, so.
Yeah, that's Monday.
The Monday. What time?
6 o'clock it starts. I don't know what time the joint meeting starts.
Okay. And is it Zoom meeting?
It'll be Zoomy.
It'll be Zoom, okay.
As of right now, I'll be there.
Okay, so it seems like maybe we're gonna have maybe not a quorum because Skip wouldn't be on the Concom. I just will have to know if there'll be a quorum so I can get this posted by Thursday.
You know what? Let's just post it.
Okay,
I think
Make
I could
it simple.
probably make it.
Let's just post it as a joint meeting with the Select Board,
okay,
and whoever shows up does, and if we get a quorum, then we just call our commission to order.
that sounds good to me.
I'm gonna put it in my calendar right now.
Okay, that is why this exact one. So, Tamika, if you wouldn't mind responding that we know several commissioners will be there. We might have a quorum, so we will post.
You got it. I can do
Thank
that.
you.
No problem.
Is it the same link for the Zoom meeting as ours?
No,
It's different.
every commission has, every meeting has its own Zoom link.
We do, okay.
So Jared, I'm gonna be.
It will be in the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna be posting this agenda for the select board on Thursday and all the meeting information will be in there just like it is on ours.
okay, perfect, thank you.
Hey, Tamika, are they going to go into executive again this time?
No, I don't believe we have a
Oh,
reason.
thank God.
Not that I've
For
heard.
my own reasons, selfish reasons.
Not that I know of, but don't hold me to that. Things can change.
No, of course. And you're not actually in the know any more than I am in some ways, about when these things happen.
True.
All righty, next up, James Meager, Chapter 61A, right of first refusal. So let's start with what's here. And then I have some Chapter 61A Meager. So we have this letter talking
Did you see
about,
the email today about this?
what's that?
Did you see the email today?
Oh yeah, I'm going to bring that up.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yep, no, thank you. I appreciate that. So we have the letter and the offer discussing taking this land from the Meagers at, where's the address? Irish Lane, Emerald Road, and Turkey Hill Road. out of 61A. And therefore we have a right of, and so we have a right of first refusal. Today we received, no, I believe it's this one. Yes. Good morning. The assessors will not be making any recommendations to the town of Rutland Select Board in regard to this property. This property has not been in chapter 61A since fiscal year 2013. Town does not have right of first refusal option in this case. The right of first refusal expired at the close of the fiscal year that the land was last enrolled, which was at the in 2013. So we don't need to do anything. I would ask. No, in fact, Tamika, I'm not even going to say that we should write something even kind of like this. So I think this notice to us is entirely adequate, that we don't have any work to do.
Yes, and I actually think, so the select board, or Chief Monaco had asked to follow this up with the town council, and they responded that yes, in fact, the town does not have a right of first refusal on this one, and so I don't even think it's going to end up on the select board agenda at this point.
So I'm not even going to call for a vote. We're just going to take no action at all on this. We're going to pretend we didn't see it. Unless somebody thinks that's the wrong thing to do and we should take a vote to print it. No. Okay. Next, conservation restriction for Maple Hill Estates. Okay, so we actually talked about Maple Hill Estates earlier tonight, and hopefully, no. Well, this is the, no, that's a different COC. This is some, scintillating reading, which is the actual conservation restriction that Tamika mailed out to us. And it is, I don't think there's a map in here. It just talks about parcels.
I actually I received the plan today from Dave George, and I dropped it into the Google Drive. So there is a plan as well.
Oh, so I did see that. Okay, let me just shoot over here. That one. Wait, let us go over here. Do a little zoomy. So this whole area is open space. That's in a butter. These are the 2 house lots we examined. These are the 3 house lots we didn't. The drive, what's this? Is this a, oh, 6, I'm sorry. So I guess there are 4 lots that they're going to put houses in. Fine. A quick reading shows it to be a rather standard conservation restriction. Ownership falls to the town of Rutland and specifically the Conservation Commission. Lots of restrictions on things that can and can't be done to it, but they're all very standard for a CR. I believe we all need to sign this. Is that correct?
Yes, everybody needs to sign, and it also needs to be notarized. So the document is being held in the town clerk's office, and they'll be available for when you guys can stop up to do that.
Okay, is it there now?
It should be. Clee was supposed to have dropped it off today. Did not get confirmation if it made it there today. With that being said, the select board still has to approve this as well at their meeting on Monday. So it'll definitely be there up through next week.
So are we supposed to sign it before the select board agrees?
I don't think that the order in which it's signed matters. It just has to be that both boards approve it and everybody has signed before it can be sent back to the Commonwealth.
Because let's be true. Some of the first questions are going to be, you're taking us out of taxable lands and donating it down, and there's going to be members of the board that are going to say no.
That is the way it has historically worked. But the problem is, you know why they made a conservation restriction? because our subdivision bylaws say they have to.
Yeah, but in the past, they used to cut that stuff up and put it in with the people's property that owns the houses there.
Oh, just give them more acreage.
Oh, so that
Give
they
them
get,
more
everybody gets
acreage and
a
they pay for the
1/6
taxes.
amount of it.
Yep, they pay the taxes on the land and it's not taken away. I mean, we can sign it, but I won't, not
Well-
until after the select board meets.
Then I'm going to suggest we put this on the agenda for next meeting so we can see how the select board weighs in on what to do with this CR.
Peter, can I also make a couple comments about it just in general?
Please do.
So I guess I'll preface this with saying I've written 2 CRs in the last 2 years, and I think
Do more than I've written.
yeah, I think the first point of issue, I feel like the Concom should have been part of the discussion during the, I guess, organization of this CR, because
Mhm.
ultimately we'll be enforcing, what's written in it.
Right.
And I think, yes, a lot of it was taken just from the model CR from the state.
Yep.
And I think there seems to be a lot of conflictions and things maybe that I'd like to see in there. The planning board decision talks about leaving it in an undeveloped condition, because it's supposed to be open space. But then within the CR, the allowed right are that, they can follow a forestry cutting plan, which is fine, but they can also stockpile stumps and trees, that they took from that property. So it kind of goes against some of the things that they're trying to do within this restriction.
Well, I also have another problem with this now that I look at this plan. How does anyone gain access to it?
That's right, it's landlocked.
Yeah, so
It is landlocked. There is no public access. So I don't know that it meets the legal definition of open space. It's my understanding that open space must be accessible to the public.
Usually it'd be like an easement.
There's an easement or some,
Yeah.
or you add a 10-foot, 15-foot wide strip
In between
to
two
some
properties.
public way or some way that will in time be public.
Right.
Right.
Good point.
And if you just kind of read through the CR, like one of the prohibited uses are cutting, removing, or otherwise destroying trees, grasses, or vegetation, but then allowed use is cutting trees. So it is kind of conflicting in that. And then what a big thing that I think they took out is in most conservation restrictions, you want what we call a baseline survey. So it's a survey, done to show what the current status is when the CR goes into place, so that when we need to enforce anything, like if the abutters encroach or start cutting down trees, we know exactly what it looked like when it started and how it's supposed to remain that way.
Right.
So all of mentions of baseline surveys are cut out of this. And then also, what was I going to say? A lot of the notice and approvals for the reserved rights, there isn't much. So right now, as it's written, they could just get a forest cutting plan without our, notice or approval and then just start cutting. Or they could, take what they call a best management practice and implement it without us necessarily knowing or agreeing that it falls within the rights of the CR.
How can they do that if they don't own the property?
They will own the property, so we will just be the enforcer of the conservation restriction.
No.
Yes.
If you read, where is it? The conservation restriction.
Yep.
This is a quitclaim covenant. Hold on, where are you? To the town of Rutland.
Right. So we are just owning the conservation restriction. We will not own the land. So they will still be the grantors, which is the owner of the property.
It does say that the grantor reserves the right to conduct
Right.
the following activities, yada, yada,
Yep.
yada.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So this will allow Blair Enterprises to keep this land, and basically if they want to log it, they can log it without our approval.
Ugh.
I hate to be the
No,
monkey throwing
thank
the
you.
wrench in.
No, I was wrong about reading the way I read it. That's
So I feel like there's a lot of things in here that, yes, are standard, but I think for the purpose of the open space design go against what the ideals and the values of that open space are.
Right.
And in most, most CRs alter that language to say, with the review and approval of the grantee prior to being done, because it does have that section about notice and approval, which is very standard. We have 60 days, whatever, but only a couple of them really kind of talk about that notice, and I think it's just wild habitat improvement.
Right.
So,
okay. All right. I will read this, and I'll do more than just scan it this time. Since we're not going to take action this time, I have a little time to read. Good.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's something that maybe we want to talk with either the town planner or the planning board in the meantime to say, there's kind of some things that we'd like to discuss and, change since it hasn't been fully signed yet.
Let me tell you, they are going to be thrilled to hear from me. Because I've been listening to the public. Well, I've been behind the scenes, the planning board meetings, and all the discussions around this between planning board and Blair and town council. This is not a sudden development. This did not come out of nowhere last week.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Blair is not going to be happy because I think he had an expectation that this was going to be checked off the list, and he wanted to get it up here for signatures today. And I did remind him that the commission wasn't meeting until this evening and that the select board wasn't meeting until next Monday, because I think he thought it was a done deal. So Peter, do you want to reach out to Dave George, or would you like me to reach out to him to kind of update him so that the planning board can maybe discuss it at their meeting next week?
I will reach out to Dave George and to Norm Anderson, who's the chair of the planning board, so they're both aware of everything we've discussed tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think maybe making a better relationship. So for these types of situations where we will be the enforcement agency for this official document, we should probably have some at least commentary on what the final product will be before we're asked to prove it.
I'll go through with my red pen. Oh boy.
I'm happy to help in whatever way is needed. I have been a part of a lot of these in the last 2 years. So
Great. So yes, absolutely. Let's you and I get together some evening soon.
Okay.
Because I have meeting tonight and tomorrow and Thursday and next Monday and next Tuesday.
We have a similar schedule, Peter.
Yes, well, Tamika, we're in a lot of the same meetings. I think I've got one you don't have, but you have a couple I don't have.
Yes, well, I just took on the RDIC, so that'll be my 6th board.
Yep.
So I'm catching up to you, Peter.
You.
I didn't know it was a competition.
Neither did
I didn't either, but now it's a little competitive.
Alrighty.
This may be totally off the wall question,
Please.
But would the meeting Monday, August 24th, with Board of Selectmen, Concom Planning Board, I think AdCom as well, which is discussing a totally different matter, would it be out of the realm to have this be a discussion point if we're all going to be there? Because you mentioned
I can answer that question for you.
Okay.
It's my understanding, after a conversation had today, that the chairman would like to limit it to just that topic of Prescott Street. Just because of the amount of items that are on the agenda, he's concerned that it's going to run too long.
Okay.
But he
Select board meeting run long? What?
Yes. So he's open. He had said, he's open to having discussions with other boards and commissions that want to talk about things, but he would rather just have it be on another agenda is all.
Okay. Just thought I'd bring it up.
That's fine, but we can, so planning board meets next Tuesday night.
Correct.
And I will ask that the commission be put on the agenda to discuss this. So we can So I'll send an email to these guys, but I want to bring it up to the entire planning board so they understand where we're coming from, what our problems are at that point with, and whatever we think we want to have changed. Or for that matter, by that time, we'll also know what the select board is thinking, which is a good piece of information. But if I'm on the agenda, we choose not to talk about it, that's fine. But if I get us on the agenda, we can talk about it. Tamika, why don't you make an agenda for a joint meeting? Well, back up. Is anybody else interested in being in the planning board meeting?
That's a week from today.
A week from today. And
I
it starts
should
at
be able to.
6:30 p.m., not 6 o'clock.
If someone sends me a reminder, I will join.
Okay,
I don't think I'm available.
okay.
I could go as a selectman.
You can go either way. So we're getting close enough. Tamika, let's just post a joint agenda and ask Dave George to post as a joint meeting.
Okay, sure, I can do that.
And that way, and again, when they see my email tomorrow-ish, they'll understand what this is all about. So we'll talk about this one in particular, and hopefully we'll talk about how to do CRs moving forward. Questions, comments, anything else on this? Because goodness gracious, that's 7:45. All righty. So let's close that one, and we'll close this letter. And now we'll go to the agenda. Hbdd, yes. Okay. Thank you for putting this on the agenda because I had forgotten, Tamika. So I'm glad I asked you when I thought about it.
No problem.
So, Heights property, the former Rutland Heights Hospital, which is now the Heights Planned Development District, Hbdd. RDIC has responsibility for developing and selling that property. The bylaw that discusses specifically the Hbdd zone created a board called the Hbdd Review Board that has, oh God, too many members to contemplate. But one of those members is a representative from the Conservation Commission. And the general purpose of this board is to review proposals and recommend favorably or unfavorably. And I don't know what else because I haven't read the bylaw in depth. But it's really consideration of land uses and purchases. Joe Delaquilla volunteered for the Concom slot in the Hbdd Review Board. We know that he hasn't been at many of these meetings lately. We know why. And so I would like to get someone else involved in this commission, in this board. They don't meet very frequently. Ideally, someone would volunteer for it. I can guarantee you I cannot be that person. So I will first ask, is someone willing to volunteer, even not so willingly, but still will someone volunteer, please, for this position?
Do they still meet at like 6 in the morning?
No.
No. And in fact, that was the RDIC, not the Hbdd Review.
Oh, okay.
You used to meet at 6 in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nobody could make it.
I think that's why Joe volunteered in the first place, because we all looked at each other like, no thanks.
If we met at 6 a.m., Melissa, I would not be the recording secretary. I could not do it.
Do we know when they meet?
When do they meet, you know?
I don't, well, let's see if I can find out easily.
It sounds like they don't have regular meetings like we do.
No, because they normally only meet when a proposal comes in.
Okay.
So they met November 25,
So they're meeting.
and they met October 16, and they may not have met before then, although not looking back. October, and actually I've been told they met in February. So, it looks like they meet they meet when they need to based upon when proposals come in. And they are actively working through a proposal right now.
Yeah.
So now is a good time for us to have somebody on it to at least catch back up again. But I find it, I don't even want to go there.
So you'll be dealing with that group that's up there on the top on the left?
You would be dealing with some of them. Excuse me, let me go back. And then go to, this is gonna really stink. You want to know awful stuff, but, oh no, I should go to my copy. My copy is much easier to read than this copy. Give this just a moment or seven. Light industrial watershed. There it is. Just a minute. I have to go and find the right formulation of this. Hold on. 5 members appointed by the RDIC. Oh, sorry. So they're appointed by the RDIC, but basically they'll take recommendations from us. 2 from RDC themselves, 1 from ZBA, 2 members at large. That's all? I could have sworn this board was much larger, like 10 people. Well, they specifically asked Conservation Commission for a recommendation for a member. So maybe we're taking one of the 2 at-large slots. But it's not as many people as I feared if it's only 5.
Peter,
It's 2 of those people you saw.
Can you scroll to the next page? Just the top of the next page? Okay. I just wanted to read the rest of that. Okay,
Right.
Thank you.
So let's not read this here bylaw. Let me close it now. So it sounds like it could be a fairly small, tight as in small group. Are there questions which people would like answered that discuss, that would help someone do it? So if I were to send the chairman of the RDIC questions about the Hbdd review board, what questions would you like to know? I mean, we've already asked who's on it, fine. We've already asked how frequently they meet, maybe how much time commitment there is for each meeting, and exactly what the duties are, because
That would be the thing, because, yeah.
Right.
it's
What-
how
what
big
do
a
you
time
ex-
commitment is
yeah.
is really
What does he expect from us?
Yeah.
right.
Expectations. Yeah. Time commitment, definitely. That'll be my first question.
Okay, then we will table this for this meeting, which is fine. We will, I will send my questions, saying we're considering it in order for to get the right person. We'd like to understand a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. And I'll ask the questions that I remember when I'm writing the email that we're trying to find out. That'll help us determine who the right person is for this position.
Yep.
Okay. Now I have to go.
Peter, and if they have like a normal time, they usually meet too.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
So Tamika, I'm going to ask you to send an email to me with all these questions.
Do you want me
I
to
think
just
I just overloaded my brain. What's that?
Do you want me to just send the email to them and CC you on it, or would you rather it come from you?
If you're willing to write the letter, I'm thrilled to let you.
I'll add it to my list.
Yeah, exactly. Look, you do so much in my name already. What's another thing?
Hey, you have no idea the things I've put out there, Peter, with your signature on them.
And I'm happy to not know.
I'm just kidding.
I only worry about the other day. Nick Monaco called me at home because he wanted to ask me a question about the select board meeting that was coming up. And my wife answered the phone. She asked who's calling, and it was the Police Chief Nick Monaco. So she gave me a look.
Like, what did you do?
And asked, yeah, that's right. And I said, honey, it's okay. He's the interim town administrator. That's, then he apologized for doing that. And I said, listen, as long as you're not here to pull me out in handcuffs, I don't think there's a problem tonight. So that's what I feel about signing my name on things. If people don't come looking to me with torches, pitchforks, and handcuffs, I think I'm okay with it. So Tamika, it looks like we have a little more paperwork, which is this thing, that's not formally on the agenda, but this is something that we were asked to talk to discuss, although we actually really have nothing to discuss. This is yeah?
No, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So this is a proposed ground-mounted solar facility at the Heights project. Sound familiar, anyone?
Yes.
This is the one we've already approved all the wetlands stuff. So we have seen this. So let's go here. They received a concept plan submitted by the RDIC for the ground-mounted solar facility on Maple Lav. A hard copy is available, as well as PDF. Okay.
And that PDF is what I sent there.
Right.
Yep.
So what action have we been asked to take?
We haven't been asked to take any action. Just that there was just copies from TRC that were provided to the various boards.
Yeah, and Tamika, I think I left our copy in the mailbox.
Yes, I do have that copy. I left it with
Okay.
our staff upstairs.
And I was thrilled that we have an electronic copy now. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, me too. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure I got that out to you guys. So there was no specific directive. I think it was more just they were providing it because you guys were involved in it.
Well, I also think that this is, I don't know everybody who got it. I know planning board got it. I know we got it. But I don't know what other groups did. And I don't know what their review process is, other than we know that they have the wetlands order of conditions. So I will actually, Tamika, in your email to the chair of the RDIC, why don't you ask if they, state that we've given an order of conditions for the project, and ask if Conservation Commission needs to take any other action with regards to this proposed concept plan.
Okay.
Or concept plan or whatever.
You got
Did
it.
we approve the solar or just the ANRAD?
Hang on, I'll check.
Both.
I thought we did both.
I believe we did both.
We did the ANRAD first.
Okay.
Yes, we did both because I remember.
We did both?
I do remember.
I couldn't remember if they
Yeah.
came back with the actual
I do remember.
NOI for the
Yeah.
actual NOI for the solar or not.
Yep, it looks like we approved it back in April.
Okay,
The order
thanks. Sorry.
conditions. Yep.
So I don't know that we have anything, but they were sent to us, just so everybody knows. And now you've all got a copy of some light bedtime reading.
186 pages light. Although we have seen some of this before, so maybe not quite 186 pages. It does look, the plans look, I haven't looked at them in detail, but they look very similar to what we saw. My guess is they probably haven't substantially changed.
They would have to
Come back
do an
to
amended
us.
order if they
Right,
were going to
exactly.
substantially change it.
Exactly.
Yeah, last time I was out there, it was also with DEP for the water quality cert inspection,
Okay.
which was a very interesting thing to just chat with them to see what they look for and things. But there were no changes at that point. That was a couple months ago now. Anyway, moving
Peter,
on.
I
Yes.
know it's not on the agenda, but just real quick, is there anything you needed me to do for your concerns with 4A Watson Lane that you had emailed earlier today?
Oh gosh. All right, we'll go take a look at that first. Oh yeah, because
I think we already did this bushy lane anyways.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
we already did this
We
one.
did cover that.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is done.
Oh, that's right. Duh. All right.
Yes,
Thank
no
you.
work- No work was done.
Memory failing.
You were just ahead of
Sleep
the
would
game.
be
Peter.
good. I was going to pull up. That's the one. And I know there is. Come on. Why aren't you going?
The Watson Ave.
It's Watson Lane. Ugh. Why are
You
you?
might just need to refresh it. Sometimes it just gets stuck.
Well, I got another welcome and I agree.
Probably.
And yet another alarm bell up in the corner. All right. This computer has been known to get ticked off when I leave something open too long. So we'll just do it again.
You said it was 4A Watson
Yes.
Lane? Wasn't that the one?
With the
We-
long driveway.
Yeah. Did we look
Just-
at this one at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that was fundamentally my question. Do we have any outstanding, do we have an already existing order of conditions that's still in effect for that property? That was really my question.
No, we do
No.
not. It was issued to the builder in 2001.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
obviously since expired, and then we issued them a certificate of compliance back in July when they sold the property.
Right. This is another one of those. We have a building permit. They want to do stuff. And I haven't responded yet because I needed to know what the situation is. Why didn't, there you go. Thank you. Come on. Wow, you are slow today. Now.
I think it's the website because mine's doing the same.
Yeah, I didn't pull up Oliver. See if Oliver's going to be any better.
I've got it up on Oliver. It seems to be working okay.
On. Glenwood's over here, right? So Watson is, I think, right here. Oh no, that's the cemetery. This is Watson.
Yeah.
And then this wacky shaped property that would not be allowed today has this. So as you can see, there are wetlands very near the house.
Yep.
And I forget exactly what they want to do, but they are much too close to these wetlands. So now if we don't have, I figured if there was an open order, maybe they could go for an amended and make it easy. But it's obviously closed all. When did we issue the COC?
July 28th, I think.
Of this year?
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a couple meetings ago because they were selling the property.
Oh,
So this is the new owners. I looked on the registry of deeds, but there is nothing recorded. So it still is showing as the previous owner. So I don't know who the new people are.
right. Okay. So I remember because they went right up to this stream. And I wasn't thrilled with how close to these wetlands they got. But what they want to do is, I believe, well within the 100. So, in fact, is there a measurement tool right here? Is that what I remember?
What is the proposal for, Peter?
Well, give me a month. Actually, give me a minute and I can show you.
Looks like the entire house is within the 100. And the pool.
There. Oh, if I remember
Yeah,
right,
it's
there is
all sides.
demolition and repair is what they called it.
Okay.
But I can go here. Get rid of you. Oh, did I send that from the? I sent that from the Earthworks email, didn't I, Tamika? Because you responded and I went to the Earthworks email.
Yes, I did observe that.
Sorry about that. That's why I was confused. Because I haven't even looked at that email since then. Now, let's see how many times I have to log in to make it work. Oh, it's going to work in once. Now, one of the problems with my mind on this is that it's marked for renovation, repair, alteration, and demolition. This is the one document they attached.
Oh, so it might be inside the house.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe it is.
it looks like interior work.
Yeah.
And in my observation, because I go down there sometimes because my parents used to live there anyways, there's definitely something going on in the driveway. There's very large equipment there, and they were definitely moving some things, but I couldn't quite tell because it's so far back.
Highlighted red walls are new. Rest was existing, as this was a finished basement. Prior, it was 2 rooms. Who cares? So the exterior walls. Okay, so we don't need to. Oh no, that's a new wall.
It can't be, though. That doesn't make sense, right? It would need to be an exterior wall there already. That's confusing.
Again, this is all I have.
Okay. Reading it, it sounds like what they're saying is they had
Oh wait,
2 bedrooms
there
down
are stairs here. So I wonder if this is just dividing. If this is an interior division wall.
I think,
Yeah, that's what I
I
would
think
say.
so.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. But it seems.
It wouldn't hurt to comment, just be like, please confirm this is all interior work. Any exterior ground disturbance requires an application.
Right.
So it
Okay.
covers if there is anything going on, then it gives them a little, oh no. Whether they listen to it is another thing, but
Well, of course. So you say there's lots of equipment, Tamika?
Yeah, there's an from what I could observe, an excavator down there. They were digging the other day in the driveway area in front of the garage. So there definitely something is going on outside, but I'm not sure how it relates to what those plans were.
The garage, if I remember correctly, is on this face because you
Yes.
come up the driveway from Watson right into the garage.
Correct.
But if they're digging here,
Mhm.
yeah, what?
I wouldn't be surprised if the whole property is in buffer zone or riverfront and both.
Well, there is that. Oh, damn it, it's in meters. 27, call it 30 times 3, that's 90 feet.
You can change that at the bottom left.
Yeah. I know, I just didn't
But,
feel.
yeah.
I can multiply by 3 and just pretend.
True.
So to the middle, in fact, it's less than that. So there's work going on in the buffer. All right, so I will comment on this straight away. In fact-
that stream does show up on the USGS topographic map as a solid, thick blue line.
Is this
Tells me.
another stream?
Yes.
Huh, okay.
Well, actually, it looks like one, but it's an odd.
But I mean, it clearly goes under the driveway now.
Yeah.
I walked this, that's how I know, because I went and rang the doorbell when I did my fast look for the COC.
Tamika, I did find a deed with the new owner that I can send you if you want.
Oh, excellent.
All right. It sounds like maybe I should introduce myself to these folks to keep it friendly-ish.
So the stream on the left shows up as an intermittent stream
Ah,
on GIS. The stream on the right appears to be perennial.
yeah,
So
I'll buy
would
that.
have, that would have riverfront. Yeah.
Well, as I said, they went right up to the edge when they did. I mean,
I
literally
remember you saying that.
inches
Yeah.
to the stream itself. All right, so let me go here.
That house was originally built, what was it, maybe 15, 20 years ago? Something like that?
I think it was.
Yeah, the original was 2001, so it's about 20 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Peter, I do apologize. I need to leave.
Okay. Well, thanks for showing up, Bill.
All right.
still have-
Sorry.
We still have quorum, so we don't have to stop right now, because I'm just going to write my comments now.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, Bill.
Thanks to you, Bill.
Good night, Bill.
Should have asked. That okay, Melissa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Peter, while you're on Viewpoint, can you pull up that Limbrook one again? I just want to make sure that the email I had is correct because I haven't heard anything from them.
Do you remember the permit?
It should
Actually,
be
give me
on
a-
your inbox, right? It should still be sitting there on the left-hand side. The second one down.
Second one down. That's a new approval.
Right, so it should still be there though.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about this inbox. See, I was looking at my
Yeah,
email inbox.
sorry.
It's like,
Oh, it's not there anymore. Maybe it got approved. That's fine.
They sometimes skip us, I have learned. If they think we're taking too long, they'll just say, skipped.
Okay, yeah. I think what
but-
I found, it was pretty much at the 50-foot anyways where the shed was going. So I didn't have a
Oh, yes, that's right.
problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
that did get closed because we did get an RDA that we approved.
No, this was a different one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
This
oh,
was
okay.
even before then. This was like a while ago. So they might have skipped us. This was on Lynbrook Drive
Lynn
or
Brook.
Road.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that they changed, was it them that changed their mind, or they somehow
maybe.
withdrew the application? I could go back and find it in the minutes, I'm sure. I think it was like 9 Linwood or something.
Was it Linwood or Lynbrook? So yeah, something like
Lynbrook?
that.
Linwood, yeah.
Well, I
one-
don't think they had reached, or at least we hadn't heard from them. And I remember I said I would send them an email, and I did, and I never heard anything back. It was with a Y. I know that
Oh.
much. Linwood,
9 Linwood.
maybe 9.
Oh, but I'm gonna. Ugh.
Yeah, it's probably
Oh.
that one.
Building permit 129 active.
It was probably issued. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, skipped.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, it was just a shed. It was pretty much on the, oh,
Like
so he
close,
did
yeah.
comment.
Yeah, Willie just decided that that we didn't have.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
It was like 60 feet, so it would have been okay in the end.
Ah,
but
okay.
I just
right.
hadn't heard anything back, so.
Right. I think there were questions open that we never got decent answers to. All
All right.
righty.
I'll cross it off my list. Thanks.
Awesome. I loved actually eliminating questions for a change. Is there any other business before the commission this evening? Because we are well over our 2-hour TV limit, which means I'm going to have scheduling hell in a little while. Any other business before the commission tonight? Going once, going twice. I will.
Motion to adjourn.
There's one.
I'll
Second.
It's the race. It continues. Roll call. Andalucci.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Crane, aye. We are adjourned. Thank you so very, very much.
Hi, everybody.